Good morning, students. As we had already discussed about the sales management and what is sales management in the previous video, now in this video we'll be talking about personal selling. So, what is personal selling? Personal selling can be defined as a personal communication of information so as to persuade a prospective customer to buy a product, a service, or an idea that satisfies the needs of the buyer. So, personal selling is actually what you're communicating, that you have a particular product and you're informing the customer or the prospective customer to buy the service or the product. So if we talk about the nature of personal selling, nature is first is transactional and relationship selling. So transactional selling means that actually when you're closing a sale, when you're making a sale, you're making a transaction. The main purpose of selling is to close the sale to a particular customer. The focus is to get the customer order or to close immediate one-time sale of the product or the service. So, but now because of the high competition in the market, people are trying with relationship selling. What is relationship selling? Relationship selling is actually trying to build a long-term relationship with the customers, because it is said that it is very tough to get new customers, but it is easy to maintain the already existing customers. So if we say about the transaction selling, the main approach is that it is a hardcore selling. It is actually a high pressure process. It focuses, transaction selling is focusing on immediate sales. It is having no concern for developing long-term relationship with the customers. Now, if we talk about relationship selling, it is the process of building long-term customers relationship by mutually developing a satisfying win-win relationship with the customers. Now I talk about evolution of personal selling. So you can see over here how did it evolve, the various steps about the evolution of personal selling. First stage is the persuasion stage, then it forward to the negotiation stage. After that you had consultative selling, then you have business management, and finally now it is the stage of partnership strategies. So in this way the personal selling evolved from persuasion stage to the partnership stage. So evolution of personal selling, first point, persuasion. So it was the primary skill used by the salespeople when where they used to persuade the buyers to purchase their product. They used to convince the products to purchase the product given by the company. As competition grew and buyers had more choices, they could go for alternatives. So it became very important for the salespeople to understand the needs of the customers, and they started modifying their products according to the needs of the market. So hence kept in the negotiation stage, where the customers, because of the growing competition, were in a position to negotiate with the companies or with the products. So the negotiation strategy became more important than mere persuasion. The customers were now treated as clients. The sellers had to identify new needs and new uses for the existing customers. Then it was negotiation stage was followed by the consultative selling. Consultative selling means it required a seller to think like the buyer. The seller had to put himself in the shoes of the buyer. Then only he could think like a customer. So a consultative salesperson understands the production and the marketing system of a buyer. Thus a very thorough training is actually required in business administration for the sales job. The salespeople were trained to practice business management strategies at this particular stage. It was felt that close working relationship was very much necessary for generation of profit and retaining the customers, because there was intense competition in the market. So initially we started as persuading the customers, and due to the increase in the competition, now the customers were in a better position to negotiate because they were having more alternatives. So now that third stage came as the consultative stage, where the salesperson become more of a consultant, and that is why he had to undergo business administration courses, where he was trained how to sell a product, and it became very much necessary for him to have a working relationship with the customers for generating more profits and retaining the customers. Then came the partnership stage. The domestic and the international competition, rising costs, cost reduction, and marketing goods, this was facilitated by a close working relationship between the salespeople and the customers. So now you're talking about the relationship, that is the partnership relationship which started evolving between the salespeople and the customers. The increasing purchasing power of the retailers, for example, Walmart, demanded the linking of the information system of the seller and the buyers. This increased the production planning and reduced inventory at the retailers and wholesalers end, which narrowed the gap between the two. So this is known as partnership strategy. So because of the high increase in cost, the rising competition, so what was happening? The gap between the retailers and the wholesalers and the customers had to be reduced, and hence the wholesalers and retailers were started to be treating as partnership. They had to enter into partnership. They had to work in coordination with each other so that they could persuade the customers to purchase their products. So this is the evolution of personal selling. Now talk about the various types of personal selling. First one is retail selling. Retail, which normally means breaking bulk. When when the products are available to the customers in small pieces or small amount, retail is actually breaking the bulk. So there can be huge number of orders, and but the number of selling will be lower because it is a retail selling. So the customer comes to the store and the salesperson job is to help the customer and answer the questions about the product to the customer. Then you have business to business selling, where it is actually not, where that is, or you can say industrial selling, where it will be used by the industries for producing something else, and then it will be handed over to the customer. So the salesperson goes to the customers and selling takes place in the manufacturer's or the wholesaler showroom or in the customer's place of business. Then you have telemarketing. The name itself suggests that you're having the marketing process over the telephone. Now I talk about the various types of sales jobs that is available. So the types of sales, personal selling jobs that are available, you can see over here. Selling function consists of order takers, which is further divided into inside order taker, delivery salespeople, and outside order taker. Then you have the order creators, which consist of the machinery salespeople. Then you have the order getters, which is consisting of the frontline salespeople. Frontline salespeople is having consist of is further breaks down into new business salespeople, organizational salespeople, and consumer salespeople. And then you have the sales support salespeople, which broken down into technical support salespeople and the merchandisers. So we start with the first one, that is the inside order takers. So inside order takers are those people who have the freedom to choose products without the presence of a salesperson. Inside order takers can be of two types. They can be the people who stand behind the customer, like you can go to a garment shop and the order takers are standing over there. You purchase your material and you give the order and make the payment. And the second one is taking calls over the phone and does outbound calling like bank and credit card companies. So one is like the garment shop, the other one is like the taking calls over the phone. So the sales assistant task is purely transactional in this case, receiving the payment and passing over the goods. That is why he is an inside order taker. Another form of inside order taker is the telemarketing sales team, who is supporting the field sales by taking customer orders over the telephone. And for example, Walmart. Then we have delivery salespeople. The salesperson's task over here is primarily concerned with delivering the product. For example, the milkman who delivers the milk, the newspaper man who delivers the newspapers, the magazines. He does a delivery, door to door delivery. There is very little attempt by these people or by the delivery sales people to persuade the customers. Their only work is to give the delivery as it has been ordered by the customer. Then you have the outside order takers. They go out into the market and sell the company's products to intermediaries like the distributors, the wholesalers, the dealers, etc. For example, the salespeople selling FMCG like soaps, detergents, or distributors and wholesalers, whose sales representative in turn sell the products to retailers. So the company salespeople perform other tasks like setting up the retailer product displays, solving the problems of the intermediaries, and training them. So outside order takers are actually those people who are not having direct link with the customers, but they are actually selling the products to the various intermediaries like the distributors, the wholesalers, the dealers, and they're helping them out in their product displays and in solving the various problems that is related to the intermediary and giving proper training to them about the product the company is going to sell. Then you have the order creators. So, as the name itself suggests, these salespeople use imaginative ways to get the orders. They actually try to convince the people. They use all types of tactics to convince the people and bring in the orders. For example, selling tangible products like vacuum cleaner, fridge, and intangibles like insurance policies. So, these person understands the need of the customer and act according to the situation. Then you have missionary salespeople. They do not ask for the orders but provide product information and promote goodwill about the product and the manufacturer. For example, the medical representatives who do not make direct sales but they prescribe to the doctors about the medicines which the doctors will then prescribe to the his patients. So, medical representative is a missionary salesperson. Then you talk about the order getters. In order getters, you have the consultative sellers or the new business sellers. So these types of salespeople are experts in problem solving of business customers. They are very creative who serve as consultant to their customers. They offered, they accepted, and the supplier fulfilled the promise. So what is happening over here? A salesperson is doing what he is actually expert in solving the problem of his business customer. Over here, I have given an example that a salesperson who is to look after material handling in the company noticed that it actually took a very long time by the trucks from the suppliers for unloading the incoming materials in a passenger car manufacturing factory. So he gave suggestion for a hydroelectric equipment which would minimize the unloading time to 5 minutes from the existing 15 minutes. Thus, he solved the problem that was being faced by the company in material handling, and his offer was accepted, which resulted in better betting or more orders because the time for unloading and loading has been resolved. The next one is technical support salespeople. As the name itself suggests, that these salespeople are those who are specialized in having the product knowledge to solve the customer needs, customer technical problems. So they're not responsible for selling a product or service. They are also involved in training of customers. For example, it includes industries such as steel, chemicals, and software services, which needs technical inputs from the sales support engineers during the negotiations between buying and selling organizations. Then salespeople, how can a salesperson, because of his endless efforts, because of his effective work, how can he be promoted or how can in near future he can become a sales manager? So a salesperson should have the ability to be a team player. He should be able to manage his team. He should be disciplined in his working habits like punctuality. He should be able to manage team. He should be having good communication skill and selling skills. He should have a well balanced person with controlled self esteem. So after selection training is given, he should take the particular responsibilities. He should actually inculcate certain skills like the people skills, administrative skill, technical skills, which should be demonstrated by him in a very effective manner. He should be having a very good relationship with his customers as well as within the organization. If we talk about the changing roles of Salesforce, for the changing roles over here, one is you can have a value creation for customers and one can be the value creation for the organization. So if we talk about value creation for customers, if you can see over here, value is equal to benefits minus costs. This shows that there are two ways to create value. Either a company can create additional benefits or reduce the cost of the benefits it is already providing. For example, in consumer marketing, a marketing organization can create value by giving a wider choice of distribution channels from where an individual customer can buy a product. The different channels available to the customer for buying a product can be the internet, can be a retail store near his residence or specialty store. In case of business marketing, The sales force can create value by clearly understanding the business customers' needs and offering a customized product or service to meet the specified goals. So, in this way, he can provide benefits to the customer. Second is reduction of cost. So, first, what is happening over here, that some customers view the product as a commodity and what they benefit in terms of lowest price or cost. So, the people think that if the cost is less, it is better for them. So many organizations follow this type of a buying strategy. Other type of customer want customized solutions and long-term relationships with the suppliers. These customers look for more benefits such as reduction in raw material consumption, minimization of billing errors, better customer retention, revenue growth, and brand enhancement. So these are the various ways in which value can be created for the customers. Then you can have value addition to the organization. How can a sales force add value to the organization? It can do so by way of making profit or by giving credit to the creditworthy customers. So Salesforce must recognize that their focus is not only to collect orders but to generate a profit also for the organization they are working. So salespeople must understand that when they are selling several products of the company, they should know that different products have different contributions to the profits. In other words, they should sell more of those products which have high contribution and should sell less of those products which have low or very less contribution, or you can say a poor contribution. In this way, they can add value to the organization. Now, if you talk about strategic sales management, planning means what? Strategic planning is to develop the company's business products, services, and messages so that they achieve long-term objectives. So, strategic plan is actually done for obtaining the long-term objectives of the organization. Then we come to strategic marketing plan, which includes selecting the target markets and developing the positioning strategy to meet the value requirements of the customers in each of the target markets. Strategic marketing is a market-driven process of strategy development. It takes into account the need of deliver superior customer value than its competitors. Then we have tactical marketing plan, which identifies the marketing tactics or action plan, which includes products or service features, promotion or communication, pricing, marketing or distribution channels, and customer service. So these marketing activities are classified into four broader groups. That is, you can call the four P's of marketing, that is product, price, promotion, and place. So in this way, you're going to take action, that is tactical marketing plan. If you do an in-depth examination of strategic sales management issues mentioned above, it has to be dealt with here. It has to be dealt with in a very strategic manner, or it has dealt in a very intelligent manner so that you are able to fulfill the strategic planning or the long-term planning of the organization. Then you have relationship strategy. In this strategy, a major key to success in selling is the ability to establish working relationship with the customers in which there should be mutual support, trust, and goals are nurtured over time. The sales force that builds effective relationship with the customer and provides valuable services are usually high performers and top achievers. So now we talk about the various emerging trends in sales management. You can see on a global perspective, sales manager must manage the salespeople to meet international competition in their country and improve their company's personal selling efforts in other countries. Sales managers selling goods and services in the global market face different language and customer problems. So from the global perspective, the salespeople should be very much aware of the marketing environment, not only in the domestic market but also in the international market. Then, because a lot of technological revolution is happening day by day, so it is very much necessary that digital and very much necessary that the salespeople are aware of the various technological developments that are happening in the external environment and use those for the increasing customer satisfaction. Then you have customer relationship management, because there is intense competition, so it is very much necessary for all the businessmen, all the organization to actually maintain the customer relationship management. So relationship marketing came earlier by bringing quality, by bringing customer service and marketing all together. Relationship marketing aims at building long-term relation with customers, distributors and suppliers in order to earn and retain long-term preferences and businesses. For this, actually people use CRM software also, which helps to build a customer database. Then you have Salesforce diversity because nowadays international businesses are happening and many people are moving to other countries for doing business. Many people get promoted to other countries. So the sales force has become very diverse also. And as more and more females have started working, so not only males are there in the sales force, but females have also entered the sales force. The sales force has become, the sales team has become much more diverse. Then you have team selling approach. This practice of team selling is used by many companies. It is mostly used when a company wants to build a long-term beneficial relationship. We have high sales and profit potential. Usually the team includes members from the senior management. So team selling approach is actually the main aim over here is to have a long-term relationship with the organization. Then next we have managing the multi-channel marketing system. When the organization is using two or more customer segments, then you use the multi-channel marketing system. The main benefits of the system is you have lower channel cost because you're actually having many channels. Your increase cover and your market coverage also increases, and you can sell customized products to the customers. Then we have some ethical and social issues because there is a high pressure on the salespeople, so it should be seen that they are actually not using unethical ways to convince the customers. They are not exaggerating the benefits of their product to sell it to the customers. They are not cheating the customers actually. So there should be ethics and social issues also. Then their salespeople should be very professional. A professional salesperson must provide services that solves the problems and responds to the customer's needs. The salespeople should have very good product knowledge. He should serve as an advocate for the customers within the selling firm. He must give all the information to customers about what is happening in the market. Then you come to e-selling, or you can say e-commerce, which has actually brought about, which has come about because of all the technical revolution. E-commerce helps to build the relationship with the customers. That Amazon and Flipkart are some of the e-commerce companies. Promotion is mostly done through the internet. So these are the various emerging trends in sales management. Then you have the sales management strategies. Actually, in this we have one win-win strategy, and then we also have win-lose strategy. In win-lose strategy, what is happening? The starting point of the development of double win philosophy is to complete the behavior of persons who adopted the win-lose approach. In win-lose approach, it is the seller who is winning at the expense of the buyer. Then we also have the double win strategy where the customer as well as the salesperson both are winning. In this strategy, both the customer and the salesperson come out of the sales with a sense of satisfaction. The salesperson not only obtains the order but sets the stage for a long-term relationship and repeat business and future referrals. So they both come out of the sale feeling very satisfied, knowing that neither has taken advantage of the other and both have profited personally and professionally from the transaction. So, if we talk about the sales planning, sales managers are guided by strategic planning at the company level and at the marketing level. So, it is very much necessary that first, for planning, sales planning, the objectives should be decided. According to the objectives, the strategies have to be developed, and in order to fulfill those strategies, you can say you have to develop the tactics or the action plan. So over here you can see the sales objectives, they're measurable targets with respect to time period, and these are called the goals. Sales strategies and tactics, they are ways to achieve the sales objectives. Tactics or action plan are the activities or the action or the actions that should be carried out in order to implement the strategy. The sales strategies are mostly related to the sales force strategies. For example, a company wants to achieve the sales objective by increasing the sales volume by 15%. And the marketing strategies for this can be entering the export markets. For this, the for this it has to penetrate the existing domestic market, utilize the existing sales force, use effective marketing channel. So for this, for increasing the sales volume, that is the objective, for increasing sales volume by 15%, the strategy you can adopt is enter the export market. The strategy for the sales force will be identifying the countries and the distributors, then sign sales agreement with the distributors. And the tactics or the action plan they can take is, the sales head has to get relevant market information to decide the selection of customers and distributors. So you can see over here how you're making an objective, that is a long-term objective, and then you're breaking it up into strategy, and the strategy is further broken into a sales force strategy, which is further broken into the action plan for fulfilling it. Okay, students, thank you a lot for your attentiveness. Okay, and we'll meet in the next video.